Gap 6 seconds ahead to Vettel. Verstappen is 1.5 seconds ahead of Vettel. Let's keep pushing, mate. You will catch those two cars at this pace.
And that is Sebastian Vettel, and that is a big lock-up from Max Verstappen, and he goes wide, and Sebastian Vettel, as Verstappen goes onto the grass, might be able to come and take the remaining podium place here. Verstappen rejoins the track, still ahead of the Ferrari.
If I was a steward, I'd make him give that place to the Ferrari. He outbraked himself and just kept position.
Okay, give the position. I think you're going to have to give the position back, Max.
He's getting advice from the Red Bull pit wall that you outbraked yourself, and as Martin Brundle said, you really should give that position back again. But where does he do that?
He has to let me go. He has to let me go.
Okay, copy, stay calm.
And Arriva Benny gesticulated.
I mean, am I the only one? Or are you not seeing what I'm seeing? He's just backing me off into Ricciardo.
And he's not just backing him off, Ricciardo's having a go down the inside, and somehow Sebastian Vettel and Daniel Ricciardo don't come together. Ricciardo giving it absolutely everything in his bid to get past Sebastian Vettel here. Whilst Vettel complains on the radio, Ricciardo is trying to pick up the scraps, and Verstappen still in third place. What a dramatic end this is to this Mexican Grand Prix. He's got a flat spot, I think, here on his front left, Martin. Oh, they did touch.
That was a big old move in the braking zone, and they left him just enough space.
Charlie said
Yeah, you know what? Here's the message for Charlie. Off, honestly, off.
He's definitely making his frustrations and his annoyance known. These are simmering tensions that have been boiling throughout the season.
Yeah, Sonny.
He used to wave a finger when he was winning, Sebastian Vettel. Now he's wagging a finger at Max Verstappen.
Daniel, an incredible end to this Grand Prix. You're now fourth. In the last couple of seconds, you've moved up. Your teammate's been demoted to fifth.
They got one right. What about Hamilton cutting the start? What about Vettel braking, turning under braking? So, very frustrated. I should be up on the podium. I don't know. I mean, it was fun for the most part, but at the end, I just spoke with Vettel now, and he reckons it was what I did in Barcelona or something. I didn't think that was wrong. No one thought that was wrong, and now he left the door open. I committed, and then he started turning on braking. So of course I locked up. I was just sliding into him. So now he's up on the podium. So
how do you feel when you see that?
I'm frustrated. I felt I put in a good drive today. I played by the rules, but yeah, didn't get that rewarded for it. So it's frustrating. But even the start, like you see the guys outbrake themselves and cut through the chicane and still stay in the lead. Like what the hell's that about? It's, you know, you do that in Monaco, you're in the grandstand. So it's stupid.
Well, you had a good drive today. Well done.
Thank you.
Max, when did you find out that you would not be taking a step onto that podium?
When I just walked in. Yeah.
How did you find out?
I looked at the timing screens, and then afterwards they immediately came to me like, you know, you got a penalty. So yeah, very ridiculous, I think. Very weird, because in lap 1, turn 1, Lewis and Nico, they both go off track. At the end of the day, they don't get a penalty. Okay, that's fine for me, but then why you give me a penalty?
Will you go and speak to the stewards and try and understand this situation? Obviously emotions are running high at the moment, but you obviously feel that it's completely unjustified.
Well, the team is already at the stewards, so we'll see what happens.
Do you think that Sebastian Vettel has respect for other drivers? We could see when you were both slowing down, it was a bit heated. He was very vocal on team radio as well.
Well, the things he says on the radio, I don't think he has any respect for anyone, because he's saying so many bad language. So I think he has to go back to school instead of saying kindergarten all the time. So yeah, it's just ridiculous. He's a very frustrated guy at the moment.
How would you sum up how you drove today? It seemed to be another mature drive from you.
Well, I think it was the best we could do with the strategy we had. You know, such a long stint on the tyres was very hard, but we managed to do it. Of course, at the end it was very difficult, but I think we clearly deserved third.
Is this your toughest moment in your short Formula One career?
No, it's not. You know, it was of course very disappointing, but it's unfair on the other hand as well.
When you speak to the team and they say whether you should hand the place back or not, I imagine you don't imagine fifth or fourth actually matters when you have a chance of that podium. In hindsight, should you have given the place up to Seb?
Well, they were not sure at the moment, so they thought I had to do it. But at the end of the day, when you look back to the videos from lap 1, it's exactly the same story. So why should I?
Christian, clearly you've just heard the news after we have. What's your view? You look quite flabbergasted.
Well, it's totally confusing because he said it was going to be investigated after the race. You know, we saw no issue with it whatsoever because of what Rosberg did on the first lap. Then what does this have? Then Sebastian's going to be investigated for braking, moving under brakes. So does that mean Daniel Ricciardo should be on the podium? I mean, it's a little bit of a joke what they've done here.
It does seem quite chaotic. People running back and forth and all of. I mean, have you sent Jonathan Wheatley up now to discuss what's going on?
Believe me, it'll be a big discussion. But you know, it was very clear. The race director said, you know, we were just looking to see if he was ahead. He was ahead. You know, likewise with Rosberg. So precedent is set, and then suddenly they change it just before the podium. You know, it's beyond belief, to be honest with you.
Well, Christian, you're doubtless delighted with the decision. Could it have been reached any quicker?
In an ideal world, it would have been dealt with, obviously, during the latter part of the Grand Prix. But I think it's the right result for Daniel. You know, I'm delighted he managed to get the podium trophy. He didn't get the experience. You know, we've had one of our drivers finish third on track, and then Sebastian's gone up on the podium, and then Daniel's gone home with the trophy. So they've sort of shared the spoils of third place between them.
In those last few minutes on track, did Sebastian Vettel not just make the infringement on the track, did he also lose it psychologically?
Well, I don't know. What I was disappointed with is we saw Lewis do exactly the same and gain an advantage at turn 1. If Seb had been halfway down the inside of you know, Max, then it would have been understandable, you know, the penalty. But what we didn't understand is we've got a driver in the green room about to go on the podium, and then a decision's made to say, actually, you know, leave, you're out. But then also the driver that was then put on the podium was also under investigation. It didn't make any sense, you know, to rush the decision through like that. They should have listened to the drivers, as they usually do after the Grand Prix, but at least with the Vettel Ricciardo penalty, I think the right decision has been made by the stewards.
Just last one from me. In terms of Sebastian's language at the end of the race, Dr. Marcos said it's conduct unbecoming of a four-time world champion. Do you agree with that? Would you expect Jean Todt to take any action?
Well, I haven't heard specifically what he said. I've heard that he obviously made some inappropriate remarks to the race director, and of course, you know, in any sport, emotions run high, but what you can't do is you know, give abuse to the referee. You're only going to get yourself in hot water.